Hello everyone, welcome to What If Ayanokoji time traveled back to his first year after graduating movie. Before we start, please go support Kunagisa-Tomo for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistaken character's gender, but of course Ayanokoji is a male. Due to the convenience of the plot, Ayanokouji and Karuizawa return to their first year at the advanced nutrition school. Now starting over, Ayanokouji and Karuizawa will make new decisions. Obviously it will be a Kiyokei. As a good Kei Simp. Chapter 1. Starting from scratch. 3 years. It's been 3 years since I enrolled at ANS. I was able to enjoy a normal school life, you could say, but as if it were a fairy tale, the end would also come. My 3 years were up, and with that, my freedom was taken away. I, Ayanokouji Kiyotaka, will have to return to the White Room. If it were my old self, I would never have hesitated to make the right decision, but that's also the way of being human. Flaws. That's what they called us, and I can't identify with them any less. Of all of them, I could say I'm the most flawed and disgusting human being. My life was always written in stone, but I rebelled and ran away. My life at ANS wasn't bad at all. I was able to gain new meaning in my life. I made friends I can trust, in a way. There were enemies who stood in my way, but that didn't falter me one bit. Above all, I was also able to experience new emotions. Kei, my girlfriend and a special person to me. It's not too much to say that she's become irreplaceable to me. Kei, more than anyone, knows the real me. Even with that, she didn't give in to the use of violence in Ryuan. That loyalty made me think differently about the girl named Kei. With a past that no one would want to live through, yet she still recovered. I can tell you myself. She's grown as a human being, no longer reliant on me to make decisions, and above all, she understands me more than anyone else. Perhaps the feeling of using her as a textbook about the opposite sex has vanished, and the new book I got is in a way stronger. A book I can't part with. Kei has become someone I can trust and love at the same time. Her value as my tool is secondary. I only need her in my hand. Like the time I confessed to Kei. I don't want any man to be with her. Sigh. It's time. My life at ANS is over and a new life awaits me. No, more like my life has gone backwards. There was no other way to say this. I don't regret it, nor do I feel bad about leaving this place. Perhaps I could stay in this place forever. No, I know I can't. My life is nothing more than satisfying human curiosity. My fate is sealed. Kei. I didn't tell her much about my past, just the bare minimum. I don't want to involve her any more than I already am. This is my last defense and the only way I can protect her. For the last time, the student named Ayanokouji Kiyotaka will be returned to his monotonous and sterile life. The clean room. Or so I hoped. The new world is opening up to the. No. To be more exact. A new opportunity. So. Ayanokouji. Be free. And. Free yourself from those shackles. Destroy the clean room. And. Live or die. Are you? Decision. But you won't be alone. The new life awaits you, and with it new challenges, or maybe the same ones. Who knows? Bro. What happened? The moment the limousine came, a flash clouded my entire vision, and then I found myself in this state. I can't feel anything. Just a discomfort. Something feels like I've been through it all over again. My vision blurs and my consciousness falls. I slowly opened my eyes and found myself sitting on a bus. I didn't know what was happening or what the meaning of being there was. My gaze quickly shifted to the others, left and right. I scanned the crowd carefully, but what I saw left me perplexed. It was as if something I'd experienced before had unfolded before me. No. To be more precise, everything I saw seemed so real and accurate. People like Konji, Horikita, and Kushida were there. My clothes were the same as all the ANS students. What? How? These questions ran through my head. There was no way everything that happened was a dream. The probability of it being real was too low. Even calling it impossible isn't even wrong. Let's first compose ourselves and analyze what's going on here. First, the situation I'm in now. Based on Kei's manga knowledge, it's probably a time travel experience where my consciousness and memories are in my first year body. If so, what happened to the first year Ayanokouji? Don't know. The second question is why this happened. Based on the information I got from Kei and Sotomura, I can say that a god or some entity sent me 3 years ago, but why? Is there a clear meaning behind this? I can't draw any clear conclusions, but is this perhaps a second chance? With all the knowledge I have of what happens in the future, I might destroy the clean room. No. Even if I do, that man won't give up and will find a way to bring me back. Another problem would be how to adapt again. Would I be like the old Ayanokouji? I don't know, but a clear example is that the decisions I make can change the course of things, but if I don't do them, I'll probably find myself with the same tragic end. Sigh. Hey, I muttered in a low voice that even the person sitting next to me couldn't hear. If this is what happened, what about Kei? Has he come back to me? Or maybe I'll have to do it all over again. Going months without being able to contact her isn't something I can't bear, but another way is that my decisions could change something that was already predestined. I also shouldn't be sure that everything hasn't changed. Like maybe Horikita is happier and not so serious. Or Kushida shows her true colors. It is not known for sure. It seems we've reached our destination. I slowly get out and look again at the school where I'll be living for the next 3 years. Could this be my second time as a high school student? Sigh. If I want to change my future, I must start by gaining allies. I need popularity and connections for that. A strong status might be attractive, but I should say no again. The most important thing is to see if anything has changed or if it's just the same. And what matters most to me is Kei's condition. I'm not sure if the bullying she suffered intensified or if it never happened. In our senior year, Kei decided to stop wearing her ponytail and chose to wear her hair down. Although I like her style, I'm more comfortable with ponytail Kei. Plus, it's fun to tease her. For now, I must head toward my new opportunity. This time, will I be able to finally throw off my chains? Or I'll lose in the process. I don't care, but deep down I want with all my heart to beat my father. Sigh. Well, I mustn't wait any longer. Wait. Oh no. It seems the timeline hasn't changed, which I think is a relief. Chapter 2. Kei's perspective. And ye. It's been 3 years since I enrolled at Anne's. I can't say my life has been a bed of roses, but as time has passed, I've come to appreciate my past. I'm not someone who gives up easily, but I also know how weak I am. If it weren't for him I might have become a broken doll by now. Just thinking about that makes me shudder, but that's over. My past no longer haunts me. I can say it with complete honesty, thank you Kiyotaka. I can't tell you how much I owe him, much less how much I love him. Maybe my life was never about a Prince Charming in shining armor, but about a villain. Someone expressionless, yet charming. The person who doesn't mind using people as tools. That's Kiyotaka, and I love him. I don't know what made me fall in love with him, but I don't care. The moment we revealed our relationship, there were many people who objected due to my popularity and position. There were people who thought Kiyotaka was blackmailing me, though on the one hand, it's not a lie if we talked about it the first time we met. Today is our last day at this school. The battle was probably tough, but even though we didn't make it to Class A, I don't regret it at all. I never cared about moving up, much less the sense of competing with other classes. I just wanted to live a normal school life and fall in love. I've made it, so to speak. I'm a maiden in love with her evil prince. A villain par excellence, and no one will accept him except me. I don't know, but I think I believe that. He stole my heart, and I'll steal his body as my heart. Yes, my heart was stolen by Kiyotaka. And I don't care. I, Kei Karuizawa, will take a step forward with the person I love, and along with that, I will make Kiyotaka understand more about love. I learned after a while that Kiyotaka never loved me, but I wasn't that surprised. It hurts. It was painful to know that the person you like doesn't feel anything for you in the end, but was that the end for me? No. Kiyotaka's feelings for me were genuine. Little by little, I let him know what it feels like to love another person. Maybe I didn't realize it, but I felt changes in Kiyotaka. I love Kiyotaka more than anything. And those feelings will continue. Thinking too much isn't my style. Maybe I've caught the virus from Kiyotaka. Mao. Okay, time to go to his room. Our relationship had its share of bumps, so to speak, but we were able to work through them. I don't know much about Kiyotaka's past, but little by little, he seems to be opening up to me. Of course, as his beautiful girlfriend, I had to teach him the basic things he would have to do and not look for help on the internet. There were only a few steps left to go to her room, but before I could open it a light blinded everything around me, and without being able to understand, I fell asleep. And Pav. I feel a little confused about what happened, but something feels different. My body and surroundings don't feel the same. Plus, it feels like I'm sitting on something. Could it be Kiyotaka? I wish it weren't possible. I slowly open my eyes and realize I'm on a bus. Nearby, I also see other students from the same school I attended. My sights fell on a certain girl, it was Sakei Nagarisu. The leader of Class A and one of the people who was able to challenge Kiyotaka. I don't know what's going on, and I can't understand it. I wish Kiyotaka were here. Kiyotaka. Right, I was heading to his room to go together and introduce him to my parents, but that damn light ruined it. Mao. There's nothing I can do. I'll just get off at the next stop. I feel something different. My chest and body are smaller. My chest, which had previously grown significantly, and my body, which wasn't so small, are now the same height they were when I entered Anne's. Wait, it can't be. This isn't impossible, but it is true. Hey Kiyotaka, what happened to Kiyotaka? Did he come back to me, or am I alone? I don't want that. I want to be with Kiyotaka. To continue teaching him about love and for him to show me new emotions. I want to share my life with him, spend day and night inseparable, and for him to love me. But if that doesn't happen, will I have to wait until the last days of the holidays for his confession? No. If that's true, then I'll do anything to make Kiyotaka fall in love with me. First, I must gain trust and become a useful tool. First year Kiyotaka hasn't yet fully formed as a human, and because of this, he rarely shows emotion or concern for others. Seriously, what I do is for love. Without thinking much, I pouted and muttered those words. Well, let's not get discouraged. First, I must find out if there are other people like me. And if so, then win their support. The second time, I'll have Kiyotaka live the student life he's always wanted. Without worrying about exams, just looking after a normal student life, but what does normal mean for Kiyotaka? Even though I think about it a lot, he never told me what he really thinks and how he wants his student life. Seriously, if I see him again, I'll give him a scolding. Well, that is, if he remembers me. Well, it's no time to get depressed. First, I have to do something against my opponents. Let's make a list. If I can say it's a somewhat derailed competition. Satu and Sakura aren't a problem. I don't see a problem with Matsushita either. Next up would be Sakayanagi and Ichinas, and could include Nanis, a first-year student who fell in love with Kiyotaka. She was like a dog, according to Kiyotaka. I didn't understand why he called her that, but little by little, it dawned on me. So I named him Pachi. Shiina isn't a serious problem. You could say she's neutral, and I don't have to worry about it. Although her cuteness is something that works against her. There's no way they'll ever meet or anything like that. Leaving my toughest opponents behind, I must plan something to win Kiyotaka's heart or at least get him interested in me. I must set a trap he can fall for and easily defeat him. First of all, even though he's someone intelligent and possesses superhuman physical ability, that doesn't mean he can win with the basics. If Kiyotaka were called a masterpiece, I wouldn't deny it, but what happens if that masterpiece loses the most important thing? Human being. And instilled in the new Kiyotaka the emotions a person should have. It was difficult, but little by little, he paved the way for a new Kiyotaka. Although he can't smile, much less show emotion, for better or worse, the number of dates we could go on was reduced due to the special exams. Kiyotaka may be expressionless, but he still cares about his friends and, above all, me, his girlfriend. Even though I want to see him and touch him, no. Kei, don't think that. It's not time yet. I'll be able to see him and go on dates with him. Maybe my heart isn't ready yet, but I want it. To a school life where I don't regret anything, and with those thoughts in mind, I head off to my next battle. Kiyotaka might not remember me since this is my first year, but it doesn't matter. I, Karuizawa Kei, will walk alongside the person I love. So, get ready, Kiyotaka, because this time I'll make you go crazy for me. Haha. Yeah. How are you? Good, decent or bad? I say it's decent, I don't use Kei's characteristic, which would be the Amau, much. It's not that I don't like it, I just don't know how to place it in my thoughts. Now he says goodbye XD. Chapter 3. The start of classes. The image has nothing to do with it, but since I saw Kei then I put it XD. It's so weird to see Horikita smile. Okay. Yes, I'm making this fic all the time because I didn't finish volume 15.5 yesterday. TSK, I was at the point where Kyopin rejects Ichinas. Well, technically, no. Wait. Behind me was Horikita, just like the first time I took my first steps. Looks like I'll have to keep going. I can ignore her, but I don't know how I can change this. Why did you keep staring at me? Well, that's all the same. I don't want to continue with the main plot, even though I have no choice. Just to see what changes. Sigh. I just saw that you didn't want to give up your seat, right? It seems that you, like me, were thinking about not giving up our seat because he seems annoyed. Well, this wasn't the best way to say it, but I'll see how he responds. Same? Don't think we're the same. I had my priorities and I don't like being compared to people below me. Ugh. I can't tell if she's worse or the same as Horikita from 3 years ago. Seeing such an abrupt change is hard to swallow. For now, let's continue on our way. If that's all then I'm leaving. I hope I don't see you again. I'm wondering the same. The same thing happened as in the first year. The principal's introduction and Elder Horikita's words of thanks were the same, with no new changes. My homeroom is the same. Class D. Now, what should I do first? I could tell everyone about the S system, but I'll save that for later. There's something I have to discuss with Chabashira-sensei, no matter the cost. If my guess is correct, then I can gain an overwhelming advantage against the other classes. I opened the door. A few of my classmates turned their gaze in the direction of the sound, only to find me and my listless face. It didn't take long to memorize all their faces. Leaving that aside, I started walking toward my seat with my name on it. It was the same seat I had my first year, a seat that allows me to visualize the class in more detail. First, I need to figure out how this day will go. After all, I have to have a meeting with Chabashira-sensei. Like the first day, I failed at making friends, but for now, that's fine. I must move my pieces before he comes and sends students from the clean room or tries to send outside help. Above all, I must meet Sakayanagi first and tell him my reasons for requesting his help. Time passes regularly and Chabashira, our Japanese history teacher, shows up. Ahem, good morning students. My name is Chabashira-sei and I'm in charge of Class D this year. I teach Japanese history. This school doesn't change classes every year, so in the next 3 years, I hope to get to know all of you. Greetings. Although the entrance ceremony will be in the gymnasium in an hour, I'll be distributing the list of special rules in the enrollment guide. Now I'm going to hand out the student ID cards. With this card, you can purchase anything at any of the stores and facilities on campus. It works like a credit card. However, be careful how many points you use. There's nothing you can't buy at school. If there's something at school, you can buy it. This happened just like at the beginning of school. The only difference, though, is that I didn't introduce myself to Horikita and just paid attention to my surroundings, seeing if anything wasn't right. Sigh. Chabashira-sensei continues explaining in detail. Student cards are used by swiping them on the machines. Using the machines is really easy, so you won't have any problems with them. The points will be credited automatically on the first day of the month. Everyone should already have 100,000 points on their card. Plus, 1 point is worth 1 yen. Any further explanation is unnecessary. My classmate celebrated, although that only lasted a few moments before they turned their attention back to Chabashira-sensei. Were you surprised by the number of points you were given? This school measures students' abilities. Everyone here who passed the entrance exam has demonstrated a certain level of merit and valor. The amount of money is a reflection of your abilities. Use it without holding back. However, after graduation, all points will be withdrawn. Since it's impossible to exchange these points for cash, there's no point in saving them. How you use them is up to you. Use them on things you like or need. If you think you won't use some of your points, you can transfer them to someone else. However, bullying others for points is prohibited. The school is very strict about bullying. Chabashira-sensei looked around the room. It seems no one has any questions. Well then, please live a good student life. And with that he walked away from the classroom. My seatmate said the same thing. It doesn't change the fact that I have to meet with Chabashira-sensei as soon as possible. Time passed and a boy with emerald blonde hair, his hair was not dyed and he radiated a calm aura, Harada Yasuke. Okay, I'll skip this since I don't remember exactly how they introduced themselves, except for Harada, Konji, and Ayanokouji. I forgot how Nagashira introduced himself and I don't feel like watching that part, so let's skip this. I normally walk through the hallways. The reason I'm currently here is for information I need for Class D to survive, although I can do it from the beginning. My popularity and my way of presenting myself don't change it. I only said a few different words. The most common thing is to think that I would be in the teacher's room, but instead what I think and I'm sure is that she's not there. Before Chabashira left, I told her to wait for me in a place where few people visit. Since it's the first day, there won't be people approaching the roof unless they want to check or visit for some reason X. My path was particularly calm and carefree like in my first days, but that's over. The school tests students to see how they develop in a meritocratic school, and this is one of the first steps towards that, but this time I will break what the school thinks. Gaining an overwhelming advantage and causing the other classes to enter a state of panic. First of all, it would be good to go with the same thing I did 3 years ago. Make Horikita my puppet and let people trust her and go unnoticed, but if I continue the same way, I will have less time to counterattack and put people as allies and obtain pawns. Besides, if I make Class D reach Class A in just a few months, it will be the least important. In our 3rd year, it didn't help much. The problem with the new students from the White Room and Yugami was a problem that got out of hand. The Gumo, on the other hand, was a deeper problem in our relationship with Kei. He used itchiness to protect important information from the 2nd year class and used that to sabotage the special exams from behind the scenes. This time I didn't help her. I wanted to see how far the girl named Ichiness Hanami could go. I can't always be there for her. She has to fend for herself. Because otherwise, I'd be nothing more than a hindrance to her growth. On the other hand, Amasawa was a more sentimental and everyday problem. A cowhide, annoying and direct, to say the least. She always interrupts at the most critical moments in my life, making my life a headache. Okay. Let's relax and continue. I'll decide this today. What did you want, Ayanokouji Kiyotaka? Chabashira's serious and cold voice was as strong as or stronger than the last few years of my student life at ANS. Nothing. I just wanted to ask Chabashira-sensei something. What would be such an interesting question that you have to call it teacher alone? Chabashira-sensei, do you want to get to class A? Chapter 4. Chat with Chabashira. Do you want to get to class A? The silence was resounding. None of us took any pleasure in continuing the conversation, nor did it matter. This silence would confirm the future decisions I would make against Chabashira-sensei. Looks like you got it figured out, but I want to ask you a question too. If it is within my capabilities, I will answer it honestly. Why didn't you tell the others? I didn't see it as counterproductive to my plans, so I omitted it, but this is something else I have to tell you, sensei. What would it be? I want you to give me all the information you know about the S-system. Silence came again, but in contrast to the previous silence, a smile appeared on Chabashira-sensei's face. Hahaha. Amazing, Ayanokouji Kiyotaka. I must say you flatter me a lot, sensei. No. I must say, this is the first time I've seen a student who has figured out most of the S-system in a single day, as well as knowing about the interclass battle. Chabashira-sensei started clapping while still holding his wide smile. Sensei, I want to be honest with you. I'm not interested in moving up a class, but I want to try something new. I let a few seconds pass before speaking again. Sensei, before the second year starts, I'll have Class D reach Class A. Joe. Although I have high expectations of you, Ayanokouji, I don't think you can do it alone. You need something besides brains. You're right, but I never said I'd work alone. I can do that to a certain extent, but I won't go into that in depth. Fine, but isn't there something you forgot? You don't know if I can betray Class D myself or if I can sabotage it. Nor do you know if I can use this to my advantage without you getting anything. Sensei. I don't think it's reasonable to say that. I know you want to rise to Class A more than anyone else, this is just my intuition, and I could be wrong, but as I said, I will make sure that Class D reaches Class A before the second year. Ayanokouji Kiyotaka, I have high expectations of you, but even if you tell me what you want to do, I can't fully trust your words. Besides, I can't allow myself to reveal information that's beyond my reach. I can't back down. Even though it seems even, Chabashira-sensei clearly has the advantage, but that's only if I let her pursue her dream of manipulating me. Sensei. I don't want to continue with this game, so tell me what the payment is for the S-system information. Hahaha. Fine, whatever you say, Ayanokouji. I'll just have to take class points, though I think you can figure out what they mean by class points, right? In a way, with this I complete my first step to keep the room in rhythm, but that's not all. Another thing I need to do is meet with Sakayanagi and enlist her support. First, I need to understand that my class won't trust someone like me without any proof. So the most obvious way is to tell someone about this. Kishida and Harada will do the trick. I could use a recorder, but I want to save points if the same thing happens with Pseudo in the first year. Goodbye. But that said, Chabashira began writing me both small and large things about the S-system. I already knew most of it, but there were a few gaps that only became known when we were in our third year or in the middle of our last year. Tomorrow. Yesterday was a tough day, so to speak. I couldn't tell Harada about this. Time is of the essence now. The idiot trio might not pay attention to the information Harada will share. Harada is the best action, so to speak, but Kishida isn't bad either. Since I don't know about her secret, she won't have any importance in my life until the midterms, when she'll turn the tables and make Kishida a useful tool. I have to keep up with things as usual. Having to tell him this about Harada can't wait. Yeah, well, it's not very important. Doing it faster will make the remaining private points better than nothing. The class point payment I made isn't small. It's almost more than I thought, and taking a risk was certainly an option, but I took the safer route and didn't draw too much attention. This month, I'll make my presence felt null and void. Starting next month, I'll introduce you to the person named Ayanokouji Kiyotaka. But another problem would be with Kei's current state. I currently see her the same, but there's something I didn't see in the Kei of my first year at ANS. The change was one I only saw years after she overcame her trauma and despair. Kei had her hair down. Her hair, which she used to wear in a ponytail and which was Kei's characteristic. Sigh. Has something changed? If so, then he won't have that scar. Well, if that's the case, I'll have to revise my plans. Plus, her introduction was just as normal from what I remember from her first year. Her speech style is still that of a Jairu. I don't see anything other than the change in her hair, but what's the reason for this change? Maybe she likes it and wanted to come with that style. I can't know, and it would be very difficult for me to team up with her right now. If I had Kei, I could make my move more easily, but that will have to wait until she threatens Kishida. The journey was slow, but relaxing. Experiencing that same feeling of freedom again is thrilling. I can't forget the sensation. A feeling of continuing this life without my chains, of being able to live without restrictions. I wish it more than anyone, but that will only be possible if I make the clean room destroyed. First I'll have to make the class aware of the S-system, and today is the day. Although there were still more than 30 minutes until the start of classes, I decided to leave early since I had nothing else to do. I could buy a monthly membership at the gym, but I'll see about that when my points are fixed. At this time of day, there aren't many people walking around, which makes for a relaxing day. I arrived about 10 minutes after leaving the dorms. There was no radical change in my surroundings, or so I thought. A few meters away I could see a somewhat nostalgic silhouette. Here we go. I didn't know why he was there or who he was waiting for. As long as we walked along, we didn't care. I walked past her thinking she wouldn't mind, but it seems that gave the wrong result. He pouted and grabbed my sleeve to stop me. Could you follow me? Why did Kei ask me to follow her? Did I forget something important yesterday, or did something change? I can't understand it, so I just followed her obediently. Why did you want me to follow you? The silence lasted only a few seconds before I could see Kei's face again. He had a determination different from what I could have imagined. Kei sighed, and then came a response that was beyond my expectations. Ayanokouji-kun, you could go out with me. And if? This is not a chapter, but rather an idea that occurred to me by chance. Context. Ayanokouji Kiyotaka never attended ANS. Ready then, the story will be from different points of view. Horikita, Ryu and Ichika Hoshinomiya. This story will focus more on what would have happened if Ayanokouji had never been to ANS and hadn't been the one manipulating the class from the shadows. If that's all. Well, no. And if? Ayanokouji has amnesia. I don't know how to do that story, although I already did. XD. Well, it would be something like this. Kiyopin has an accident and only remembers his name and the word freedom. This story will be about how Ayanokouji deals with strange situations. Choose whatever you want, I don't know what to put anymore. Why is it? Ayanokouji Ichika Hoshinomiya. If another besto waifu Ichika Hoshinomiya, I think I've never seen it in Spanish or someone gave it to me, but I thought about doing it XD. For what if? Quote's reaction to the future. Simple. Ayanokouji and company react to future events without knowing them, obviously. What if? Reaction without Ayanokouji. This counts alone. There won't be a chapter today because my sand brain is bugged XD. Although I plan on doing a Yakoso one-shot, but since I'm bad and have no faith, I'll only do it when I feel like it. Chapter 5. Changes in Karuizawa. And with all the predictions I realized that I didn't put emphasis on Karuizawa, and this is because I wanted to somehow give more background to Kiyotaka and his future plans. XD. Well, here is a chapter that focuses on Karuizawa and her change in hairstyle. By the way, the first time I saw that I thought it wasn't Kei, but now that I've seen it, it's 1,000 times better, and I don't know which one is better. Well, let's leave that aside, and I hope you like this episode with lots of ahhhh mau. It's weird. No, more precisely, it feels nostalgic. Seeing everything that happened restart feels melancholic, so to speak. My time at ANS made the person named Karuizawa Kei grow up, but more than anything, it made me trust and love a certain boy. Ayanokouji Kiyotaka. A boy of average height with brown hair and brown eyes that reflect nothingness. A gloomy figure to all our classmates, I was no exception. Back then, I was only thinking about my survival and had no intention of getting involved in matters that would jeopardize my school life. But little by little, I learned who Kiyotaka was and who he was to me. I can't say for sure, but I feel a little sad about not being able to have those idle conversations with him. Besides, I want to touch his body like lips. Thoughts that are always on my mind and I can't get them out. If I could see him now, I'd surely melt at the mere sight of him and turn as red as a tomato. Okay, let's put those thoughts aside and head to Class D's classroom. My appearance is vastly better than average, and there's no doubt about that. I'm completely confident, but there's something about myself that makes me feel bad. My scar. I may have overcome my past, but I can't get over the feeling that Kiyotaka would think if he looked at this scar. Would he hate him? Would he leave me? Even though those questions came up, I know he'd never say them. Because I trust him completely, and I know he's a fool when it comes to love. Hee. Okay, first I have to make friends with Chiaki and Maya. And most importantly, Kiyotaka. I have to confess my feelings to him as soon as possible and put him up against the wall. Even if she rejects me, I'll keep trying because I won't give up just because she says no. So I have to make sure everything that happens is the same as my first days at ANS. The only thing that changed was my hairstyle. Previously, my hair was in a ponytail. At the beginning of our third year, Kiyotaka suggested I try out various hairstyles. At first I refused as I had gotten used to my ponytail, but just on a whim I did it, and it was a stark change in the classroom. Like certain boys, and even Kiyotaka didn't think I would listen. That was the first time I felt like I'd publicly surprised Kiyotaka. After that, I continued to tease Kiyotaka, or rather, I tried to, since he was always on the receiving end of the teasing. It was very difficult to maintain my composure when Kiyotaka started joking around. My face turned red because even though we'd been dating for over 2 years, that doesn't mean I easily got used to being the one receiving the praise. I don't dislike it, but every now and then Kiyotaka has to let me make fun of him. HMPH. Hello, I'm Karuizawa Kei. Okay, let's skip this. I really don't know how to introduce Kei alongside Sato and Matsushita, so I'll leave it to your imagination lol. Kiyotaka's presentation was the same, but it felt more fluid, as if he'd already practiced it or someone had taught him. Did something change? But what was that change? My presentation was the same. The only thing that changed was my hairstyle. My way of speaking didn't change, and I don't think a change in style alone would have made me do this. Plus Kiyotaka always told me this, HMPF. I accidentally pouted, but luckily only Maya and Chiaki saw it, although shortly after they told me why I pouted and why I seemed unsatisfied. I only said something halfway. I couldn't show my love for Kiyotaka yet. Yeah, I still can't kiss him. I must get going as soon as possible. Even if I wanted to, there's no way I can do anything. The only thing I can think of is to confess my love to Kiyotaka and see if he accepts. Ah, Mao. I really have to go through this again. It doesn't make me angry, but rather I feel like I can spend more time with him, and that warms my heart. Good. For now, let's focus on enjoying the second chance. I didn't do much today, so to speak. I just went shopping and bought moderately. I didn't spend too many points on clothes. What I did splurge on was kitchen utensils. Kiyotaka once said he wanted to try my bento. I couldn't do it at that time because I couldn't cook and it was difficult to learn and frustrating for me. But if it's now, I can even do the most basic things. First, I have to bring a surprise bento and corner him. I don't know if he'll listen to me, but I don't think so. He probably wouldn't mind following me. After all, I can use my past to my advantage if my initial plan ultimately goes awry. I'm sorry, Sato-san, Matsushita-san. I have to do something. No hey problema Karuizawa-san. Yes. See you tomorrow anyway. After saying goodbye to Maya and Chiaki, I head to my dorm to prepare everything for the next day. The bento will be the first thing I need to complete and then I'll have to figure out how I can get Kiyotaka somewhere without anyone seeing us. Okay. For now, let's start with the plan to make Kiyotaka my boyfriend. F for my late publication. Well now yes, we begin with the arc of volume 1 and with this the following chapters will be longer if I feel like doing it. Chapter 6. Club Fair in Ayanokouji. Huh? My computer brain couldn't understand what was happening. Of the possible outcomes, I never imagined Kei confessing to me. Does she like gloomy boys now? Author. And I didn't know how to describe Kiyotaka. Gloomy, lonely or something, but meh. This is Ayanokouji-kun. Oh. Sorry, I just didn't think a girl would propose to me on the first day of school. Well, Ayanokouji-kun, I want your answer. I see. So she does too. If my guess is correct then she shouldn't resist this. Yes. Kei only raised her face slightly before lowering it immediately. I could see her insecurity for a few seconds. She probably thought I was going to reject her or simply not reciprocate her feelings. It was only a few inches away before I grabbed her cheek with my right hand and lifted her up. Amo Kei Karuizawa. Chances are he's repeating those words more than 3 times. Kiyotaka. I didn't speak, I just let the silence take control. And I kissed her. It was the first kiss we had since getting back together 3 years ago. Kei has been a tool that became my girlfriend. I can't leave her. She has taught me many things and one of them is understanding what we call love. So I want to know more. I want to know more about this feeling in my chest. Kei is a bear. The next thing that happened was seeing a Kei crying and at the same time grateful to be able to be with me again. Our relationship isn't public yet as I told him we should refrain from drawing attention to ourselves for the first month. On this day the club fair will be announced and I will probably do something. Horikita remains diligent in her work as an exemplary student. Although most are doing whatever they can. Well, it's time to get the wheels turning. Ayanokouji-kun. Do you want to go check out the clubs? Yes, I was going to go anyway, but thanks. No. I just wanted to know if you wanted to go. If you don't want to, I won't force you. Let's go Harada-kun. Yes. Incredibly, Harada's harem didn't change, except for Kei who looked at me from time to time, as if he wanted to get closer to me. Sigh. Club fair. I didn't join any in my first year, and I won't. I don't see the point, and it also takes up essential hours I could be spending planning for special exams, among other things. Akito will probably choose the archery club and Sudo the basketball club. Barada went to the football club. Well, I watched a certain club in the distance. It was a club surrounded by only 5 students. It was the music club. Next to the counter for the registration of the same club there was a piano. A musical instrument with both beautiful and sad tones. In my opinion, the piano is one of the best and most enjoyable to listen to. To say that I am not talented on the piano is a lie. I contacted Kei to see me play a piece. She didn't seem worried, but I felt like something wasn't right. If she didn't want to see me do it, why did she give me permission? Sigh. Let's see what I can play. If you want, you can read while listening to Moonlight Sonata. Just saying. I'll start with the Moonlight Sonata, written by Ludwig van Beethoven. Its low and sometimes fast melody up to the third movement is beautiful and clear, but I'll only go as far as the first movement. If I go as far as the third movement, I'll surely attract more attention, and I'm sure Kei will be angry, but let's forget about that and begin. A deep silence enveloped the scene as a brown-haired boy began playing the melody Moonlight. His hands moved fluidly, leaving no gaps in the melody. 1 2 3. The seconds seemed like hours. The beautiful sound created by the boy was heard by everyone. It wasn't just because it was a familiar piece, it was for a reason. The reason was how the boy didn't miss a beat. Sound after sound, the pace grew slower until the first movement ended. It was something many couldn't understand, and only a few people were able to appreciate the talent that boy possessed. But few of them knew that this was the beginning of indescribable events. Kyo's POV. Many problems. After I quit the piano, many people were inflated, and in the process, I had to deny everything they said. Except for the most common things. My name is like what class I'm in. Many people didn't think I was in class D, but in the end they had to swallow it whole. Barada's harem looked at me in disbelief. Well, it was obvious that they didn't think that someone like me could play the piano, and at a completely out of place level. I wouldn't deny that if I focus on the piano I could even become someone renowned worldwide, but that's not the point. Barada helped people to let me go. It was exhausting dealing with those people. For the first time, I regret having listened to my curiosity. Sigh. At least send Harada a message and I'll tell him everything tomorrow. Today was exhausting, and I don't plan on using my brain anymore. Let's rest. Or so I thought, just as I was beginning to close my eyelids my cell phone rang. It was a call. The sender of that call was Kei. Hola Kiyotaka. I quickly moved the cell phone away from my ear. Hey, what do you want at this hour? Well Kiyotaka, as a girlfriend, I should encourage my boyfriend for the trouble he caused you. Problems? Well, before you played the piano, Sato asked me if I knew anything about him, since when we were on our way to the gym, he saw us talking. I see, that's why you asked me to play the piano. Yes, that's why today we'll have a long talk about what we'll do after we reveal our relationship. Okay. Well, right Kiyotaka, yesterday there was something that didn't happen as far as I remember. Time passed and passed. Moment after moment. Memories we will not forget. That person who is with me. I will protect her. It's okay. Let me know the feeling of loving. Little by little I understand it, but I want to know more. 3 more years. Okay. I'll wait to understand this feeling. Until then I will continue to treasure you. And loving you. Chapter 6.5. Secret date. Yes. HMPH. Kei snuggled into my chest. Even though we only had a day left before revealing our relationship, she insisted on having a date in my room. Back when we were sophomores, secret dates were common. We even had a pattern in case something got out of hand. Kei had grown even closer to me since she learned our relationship was only a few days away from going public. First of all, the class knew that we were close friends and there were almost no problems if I talked to her. Kei has been very spoiled these past few days. No matter what I tell her, she always wants to be near me. I can't be sure how much her personality changed. Although it's likely that I'll try to make my relationship with Kei public. Since we started dating, we haven't had much time together, and the few times we were able to go on dates or have a private chat were about whether there were any changes regarding the class or other classes. The way things are going, there's nothing really worth mentioning. These past few weeks, my free time has been interrupted by Kei's abrupt calls and her desire to pamper me every time we're together. It's not that I dislike her, but if she keeps doing this, I'll have to make her stop somehow. The same thing happens again as yesterday. Kei clings tightly to my chest. Although I must say it's cute, I have to stop her. Sigh. Hey, I call out to Kei in a more authoritarian manner. She stopped using force to curl up against my chest and started looking into my eyes, and she started crying. no, it was more of an act. I know very well when she's sad, but this time it seems so real that even I couldn't tell if she's acting or really crying, but even so, it's time to make my next move. With both hands, I pulled Kei away from my chest, but this caused her to cry even harder. Seriously, that girl. For now, let's calm Kei's whining. I run my hand down her back and I slowly bring her closer to my face. She probably wouldn't think I'd do this, but Kei. You know doing this is the only way to calm yourself down. Inches away from kissing. It was only seconds, 3, 2, 1. The kiss ended without a hitch. Our dates always ended with a kiss, but this time I was the one initiating the kiss. Our lips parted. The kiss wasn't long. It only lasted 2 seconds. But for me, it was enough. Because of my unexpected action, Kei seemed like a volcano about to erupt. Linda, I muttered, but it seems Kei heard what I just said. Ibaka, now Kei looked like she was about to collapse. It's fun to see her blush over things like this. Care. Childcare. HMPF, I just want to call you Kyo. Can't your cute girlfriend? Kei started using his puppy dog eyes. Although I don't mind if he calls me Kyo, I can see another side of Kei now. No, I've seen it before, but maybe it feels different when. It's a very different feeling than that day. Sigh. Oh right, Kyo. And? Come. Kei gestured to her thighs with her hand. She seemed to want to give me a lap pillow. I always wanted to try this with Kyo-kun when we were dating again, plus you always asked me to when you were sleepy. Good. I won't deny that I may have a thigh fetish, but I don't recall asking Kei for it that many times. Let's forget about that for now and get back to the original. Alright. Sure. You're my boyfriend, and I don't care if you're the one sleeping on my lap. Then I take the offer. Yufufu. Why was that laugh? Little did I know I had fallen into Kei's trap. Kyo-kun, how about we have a date tomorrow? Date tomorrow? Kei's probably eager to reveal our relationship, even though she'd been acting normal a few weeks ago. Maybe I'm also feeling a little excited about making our relationship public. Although due to many circumstances it may not be the wisest thing to reveal my relationship with Kei. Revealing my relationship with Kei may cause external problems, but my plan is to do it before that guy comes, and if my calculations go wrong, then before acting director Tsukishiro replaces director Sakayanagi. With that, the information about my relationship with Kei will be delayed, and by the time he realizes it, the clean room will have been destroyed. I sigh, but even if everything goes according to plan, I can't be sure of Kei or his family's safety. It all depends on how lucky and precise my plans are. I had a meeting with Sakayanagi before, but now I don't want to remember that moment. The matter I must take into account is having a meeting with director Sakayanagi, although I cannot be sure that he will agree to a private talk. For now, let's continue moving up to Class A. My external problems to get up to Class A will be easy to cover. First, I must pass the midterm exams and do my best on the uninhabited island exam. If my guess is correct, we should be in Class B if we follow everything as planned. Unless the special exams change, I can't say for sure how likely it is to make it to Class A. The special feature of this school is the special exams, where each class competes for CP. The uninhabited island exam is a test where we can earn over 300 CP. If we can correctly guess the class leaders, 50 class points are added to the class that guessed the other class leader. If the class guesses incorrectly, 50 points are subtracted. An emanation where the defensive can be effective, but in the long term that strategy can harm the class. Sigh. Thinking about so many possibilities isn't good, so let's relax for now. No, it's Kyo-kun. Yeah, Kei. HMPF. Kiss, Kei murmured the last word. Although she pouted, I can't help but think she's too cute. Kei. You know you can do it without asking permission. You who said I'm asking for permission, Kiyobaka? HMPF, stop making fun of me. Although it's fun to see you embarrassed. Ah. Kiyobaka. Hey, it seems my hormones are asking for this, but what can I do? Being alone with Kei makes me feel lustful. For now, let's continue. It seems like Kei didn't expect a second kiss, but I'm sorry Kei. I don't know how long I can hold back. Understand? You don't want to. And no, it's that I just didn't expect it. But a few days before Kei looked for contraceptives, although it seems that she could have done it, it seems that she bought a whole box without knowing it. You can. And. Chapter 7. Swimming lessons. Wait there, pigs. Finally, the pool chapter, and with this, the events that were the hardest for me to write are over, and then I'll move on to System S. Well. Image of the waifu itchiness for some and Horikita for others. This happens before Karuizawa and Ayanokouji's secret date. Kyo's Pav. Sigh. It seems today will be a more problematic day. It's been a few weeks since I told Harada about the suspicions regarding the S system. In that time, most of us have behaved appropriately. Chabashira wasn't surprised by this given our conversation on the first day. For now, we're waiting for swimming lessons, which will take place after the first break. Ike and Yamauchi are still planning on classifying the girls by breast size, but let's leave that aside for now. If for some reason Kei sees me around them, she'll probably scold me, and I don't want to be lectured for more than 30 minutes. The class points we'll receive won't be many, but they'll be better than nothing. There are only a handful who accepted Harada's idea, though obviously this only applies to the majority, except for people like Ike, Yamauchi, Sudo, Miyamoto, and others I don't feel like naming. The day is swimming class. Kei decided this time not to skip swimming lessons and take them. Understand? Understand? Ah. Sorry, I just don't know your seatmate's name yet, Chan. Here. It's Horikita Suzune. Oh. Wait so fast. What could have happened for her to change her mind so quickly and give me her name? Ayanokoji Kiyotaka. There's no need for a self-introduction. Almost the entire class knows you. Whoa. I talk too much. I can't believe it. Let's try something better. Oh, just in case, what do you think about the class? Why don't you answer me? Sundere-chan. Ouch. I seem to have earned a cold stare. I'm sorry. Sigh. This time I sighed for a long time, but it seemed to have the desired result. And that sigh. It doesn't matter. What do you think about what Harada said? Sundere-chan. DSK. Well, I don't think it's wrong. I can say that you have good points about it, although I can't say that it's true. Most of your explanation makes it clear why the school doesn't intervene with the students and their bad behavior. Whoa. And I'm done. Let's get past this and go to Kei. It'll be hard to have Horikita as an ally after this. I approached Kei as quickly as possible, but it seems everything went wrong and she left with Sato and Matsushita. Sigh. For now let's just think about a few things. Yes, it's been a few weeks since I returned to my first year at ANS. There were things that didn't change. One of the things that did change was Kei's ponytail. Although she wears it more often now, when she's with me or when she's trying on clothes, she always wears her hair down. That aside, my first impressions of my classmates' behavior were the same as before. Nothing had changed that really caught my attention or anything out of the ordinary. On the other hand, it would be the advancement of the class. I plan to bring this class up to Class A before Sakayanagi takes over, but now that I have a way to contact her, I'll do it as quickly as possible. For now, let's focus on the biggest obstacles in my plans. Although this plan is long-term, increasing the speed at which it progresses isn't a bad idea either. Depending on how circumstances develop, I also see the feasibility of revealing the plan for the total destruction of the clean room, letter by letter. Another problematic issue will be Class C, led by Ryuun. This may be the biggest problem so far. First, I must make myself known as a sub-leader or someone I trust. Ryuun will most likely attack Class D from now on. With all the knowledge I have about the person called Ryuun Kakeru, I can tell that he is not someone easy to deal with, and trying to put up a front for the time being is the best course of action. Using Harada might be a profitable option, but with what's going to happen to Sudo, I know Ryuun will find out about the leader's lie and will seek out the original leader, which will lead to my revelation. Using Horikita as the leader and Harada as the deputy leader is the best option so far, but the problem is whether Horikita should remain the leader of the class or pretend to be the leader. Depending on the outcome, I will have to assume the consequences of using certain people for the plan. Boy Kiyotaka. Oh. It seems I was lost in thought for a long time. Yeah, Kei. Okay, let's go to the cafeteria. I was waiting for you and calling, but you didn't hear me. Well. Some time later. It was time for swimming class, and of course, the same conversations happened. Ike and Yamauchi were surprised by Sudo's physique, though that didn't matter much since seeing Harada's physique made them feel worse. Their hatred for Harada increased. Sigh. It seems I'm sighing more than usual these days, perhaps because it's so unreal seeing everything repeat itself a second time. So to speak, my current life is still that of the clean room. I quickly changed and headed outside to wait for swimming lessons. In the process, I got a close look at Ike's face, like Yamauchi and Stasis. To put it mildly, it would be a good idea if they didn't show that perverted way, and maybe they'd get a girlfriend. Well, Ike did have a girlfriend, but I don't know anything about Yamauchi. Since there are only a few days left until our relationship becomes public, I don't see the problem in getting closer to Kei. Despite my apathetic face and my grotesque personality, I can say that little by little, I am getting to know more human emotions, but for better or worse, I don't see such a drastic change in myself. Kei, on the other hand, has had mood swings over time. Since she was once upset for an entire day and I couldn't calm her down unless I pampered her the entire day or days where she's the one pampering me, I can't understand why Kei has such drastic changes. I could say Kei has grown academically, but her physical growth is deplorable. Physically, she hasn't changed much, and the best she could do was run a little better. Basically, I can say her body isn't built for training. The once called D class was able to improve in those 3 years. From Kei to the others, we were able to go through many things that cornered us, but with Horikita's leadership, we were able to deal with them with some ease. Expulsions brought about by the low morale of some classmates and the motivation for others. The former Class D was able to stay afloat and compete with Class A once again. My contribution was not bad, despite having to keep guard against the new enemies that came. I wonder if I can have a quiet life for once. While I'm in my thoughts I see Kei with Sato and Matsushita, it seems they are friends like last time. Ike and Yamauchi were dejected, but after Kishida came they reaffirmed themselves, and it seems that their motives became clear. My time in swimming class was fun. Well, for the others, I felt a bit excluded, but thanks to Kei, I was able to join the group. The Ayanokouji group has not yet been formed, and I don't know if it will be formed or if it will perhaps change course in the following events. My current plan is only halfway done. I'll leave the rest to chance, but more than anything, it's a bet against my father. If my cards are played right, the information in the clean room and my data will be erased, and with that, no one will be able to know about the masterpiece. Even if there are politicians who would forcefully return to the clean room, I would have Director Sakayanagi in my corner, though I don't know what favor I have to return. The day I wish to win the competition and earn 5,000 points. In short, this will be the first step toward making everyone begin to doubt the existence called Ayanokouji Kiyotaka. Our turns passed, and in the end, only Harada, Sudo, Konji, and I remained. The 4 of us would be competing, and with this the swimming classes would finally end, revealing who would win those 5,000 points. On your marks the swimming instructor started the competition, and there were only seconds left until the 4 of us demonstrated our physical abilities. I won't lose. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. I took my position to swim as quickly as possible without wasting a single unnecessary second. Meanwhile, Konji was right next to me, competing to see who would be the first to reach the finish line. Our pace didn't slow down, and we continued fiercely toward the finish line, but I won't let Konji win this race. So let's get serious. I used all the strength in my body and headed faster than Konji, but even so, Konji didn't falter and also increased his speed. Little by little, the goal came into view, and there were only a few seconds left. And? Identify. Time skip. I wish I hadn't done more than usual, but it was necessary to maintain status in Class D and ensure they wouldn't disobey my orders. On the other hand, Kei was also bombarded with questions because she was the only person I communicate with the most. Kei sent me a message saying that she couldn't make our date in the afternoon and that it would be better if I went, but although it seems like today was so-called easy, the hard part has just begun. Kei sent me another message telling me she'd be over at 7 p.m. to get pampered. She didn't even mind telling me directly. Well, it's not that I hate it, but it's been over a week now with Kei being pampered. Now there is only one thing left to do. Sakayanagi. Chapter 8. Revealing the S-system. I don't even know what image to put anymore, I just put anything, but since we've finally reached the crux of the story, and with this, there are only a few chapters left until we can finish Volume 1 and begin Volume 2. It was May 1st, and the revelation about the S-system finally began. My current class was in a state of shock because they didn't receive the points they were sure to receive, but luckily for them, most people weren't. Only a few people became tense upon seeing their private points. On the other hand, I can say that Ike, Yamauchi, and the others were angry to know that Harada was right when he told them that the school would probably analyze us based on our behavior, in addition to giving as reasons the free products and the senpais who asked for free meals. All of that information was given to our classmates so we could at least keep some class points, but from what I see, the situation is worse than what could have happened. Ike and the other idiots wasted their points and ignored Harada's and the others' warnings, which caused our points to be reduced, but I was still able to foresee this event to a certain extent. Okay, class, before we start, are there any questions? Chabashira said, affirming the others' concerns and making it even more obvious that something wasn't right. Time skip. Since nobody cares about explanations since they already know everything XD. Hey Kei-chan, let's go to Kiyokei Mall. Oh, that's fine, but if you want, you can go ahead. Are you going to be with Ayanokouji-kun? Haha, how bold Kei-chan, leaving us out of the boyfriend issue. Yes. There's no need to hide the fact that you're going to be cozy with Ayanokouji-kun. It's not that, I just wanted to talk to him a little. Okay Kei-chan, we are waiting for you. So as I walked over to a certain brown-haired boy, his face was like an Eichmann, but that's not what's attractive about him. There are many things I could list, but I'd never have the time to finish them. Hey, said a voice I remember from a long time ago. Maybe it's because of time, but every time I hear it, I feel so happy and my heart feels so warm. I can't say exactly what brought us together or how our romance began, but that doesn't matter. Over time, I knew my heart belonged to him and his should be mine. What's wrong, Kiyotaka? I ask my boyfriend as I sit on his lap. He strokes my head while I try not to move too much so as not to let this warm feeling end. I think it's time to go for the second part of the plan. Oh, I see. Firstly, Kiyotaka decided to slowly reveal his abilities. At the beginning of classes today, Kiyotaka was the only one who obtained 100 points. His physical ability as an academic was not something that went unnoticed by the others. Class C like B and A will be careful with the actions they will have to take against someone who is good at physical skills as academics. Assuming they try to target me, that would only give Kiyotaka one more reason to destroy their class. Besides, there is no way they will target someone like me. My status as the leader of the girls of Class D has earned me a certain reputation. The students of Class B would not be wary of me, but they would always be reluctant to trust their words. On the other hand, there is Class C, who is led by Ryuun. Wait, why am I thinking all this? Moo. What's wrong, Kei? Kiyotaka said. And nothing, I was just thinking about having our next date. Yeah, that's exactly it, I said, trying to fool my sweet boyfriend. I understand. My worries were immediately released. So Kiyotaka, what do I have to do? For now, just keep the girls of Class D high and try not to cause too much trouble like in your first year. Yes, I say. Fine. I'll sleep here for now, I said, snuggling into Kiyotaka's chest as I tried to squint. Kiyotaka doesn't seem to mind, so I don't have to be afraid of him waking me up at a convenient time. Hey, what? What's up, Kiyotaka? I think it's time for you to go with the others. Oh right, I forgot I had to meet up with the girls. You're right. I'm sorry for taking up your time, Kiyotaka, but remember not to flirt with anyone or you'll have to face my wrath. I don't know why I said that, but I found myself in need of buying an eggplant because it will be one shot of the power of the goddess KXD lol. Kyo's Pav. While Kei was leaving, I pondered my future plans. First, I have to keep in mind that my relationship with Class B will be very difficult to achieve, in addition to not being able to help Ichinus and the possibility of the Ayanokouji group not forming, but those are less important issues. The main things I have to keep in mind are Horikita and Kushida. I could eliminate Kushida, but her assets in the class are crucial and will provide the emotional support that Harada and Kei can't. On the competitive side of the class, uninhabited island exams like the Zodiac exam will be the main class point earners. Good. I walk through the opposite area from where I was earlier with Kei. I can't say the direction I'm taking is the right one, but even so, there can't be any other outcome. The day wasn't as tiring as the conversation between Sakayanagi and the conflict over my abilities and how I became a sub-leader, but there's also the problem with Class D to solve. Horikita can't serve as a cover that well right now, but I can also teach her how someone as proud as her understands that there are people more capable than her. As for the other classes, I don't have to worry about A, but B and C are a problem that will be left for later. The meeting with Sakayanagi was valuable and also gave me further access to the conversation I will have with a certain person. For now, what should I do? Chapter 8.5. Chat with a childhood friend. Days before the S-system reveal. Kyo's Pav. The day was the match between Sakayanagi and me. My goal is to create a bond between Class A and Class D so I can gain the greatest advantage. Sakayanagi will probably think about this for a few minutes, but if I show her my determination to have a battle against her in the upcoming exams, there's no way she will refuse. Depending on the relationship, this can cause many more problems. One is my relationship with Kei. Sakayanagi probably thinks I'm using her as a textbook to learn about love and that it's not wrong at all. But despite that, I also look at and feel Kei in different ways, a warmth and a feeling that fills my heart with joy. Kei has become irreplaceable. I don't even know if anyone else would accept someone like me or if anyone would accept me for who I truly am, but that's something I can't change. My current situation and goals are already predetermined and will simply be another branch of my life. So Ayanokouji-kun, what's the matter? Sakayanagi asked as an amused look came from her. I just wanted to put my suspicions to rest, I said. It wasn't a lie that I wanted to put an end to suspicions about Sakayanagi. So far, I haven't been able to see Ichinus as Ryuun, but even though I don't know how she's changed in this new reset, I can say the Class D is still the same as before and the change isn't that significant from what I can see. But does that extend to the other classes? Don't know. Yufufu, so what would those suspicions be? He says while walking closer to me. Do you know who are you, Ayanokouji-kun? Who am I? What do you mean? I didn't understand what he was getting at or what the clue was that led to that question. No. I can say that you are the same as 8 years ago, but your aura and gaze are different from the ones I knew back then, he says while his face goes from amused to affiliated. I see. My assumptions weren't wrong. If Sakayanagi didn't notice this change in me, then I couldn't trust that other people hadn't changed. Even if superficially they look the same. I don't know exactly how much the person has changed internally. It's a case like Kishida's, where people hide their different ways of being, but no human being does. It depends on how you look at it, but no human being deceives themselves to defend their environment. Sigh. So Ayanokouji-kun. Sakayanagi was a few inches away from me. I want a truce between Class D and A, I said. Fufufufufu. Sakayanagi's laughter was loud, although since we are in this place, it was surely not heard by anyone except me. So I wanted to finish this as soon as possible, since there are still matters to resolve besides the Sakayanagi case. That was kind of funny to hear from you, but I'll refuse. Well, it was obvious that this would happen, but let's see how this ends. So you're not happy with it just being a truce between the two classes? I asked. Yes. Besides, I don't see the need to make a truce between us since, after all, you don't need my help to ascend from class to class until you can face me, he says. You're partly right about moving up a class, but that's just a facade. My true goal is to get Sakayanagi's help above all else. If I can achieve that, then the next steps will be easier. So how about this, Ayanokouji-kun? I want us to measure in the next exam which of us deserves to have. So that's it? Yes. I don't see the need to drag this out any longer. Besides, the only thing that impressed me was that you had a girlfriend. It's nothing out of this world. Yeah, but for me seeing you dating someone is like an achievement. Hey. Good. If that's all, I'll say goodbye, Sakayanagi. Same here, Ayanokouji-kun. This is the collected data and also Kiyotaka's current location, says a well-dressed man, close to 40 years old. The man handed over several files, but the one that stood out the most was a paper that said everything the middle-aged man was looking for. The piercing gaze and soul-devouring eyes were fixed on a certain name that appeared within that paper. Kiyotaka Ayanokouji. I want you to contact me quickly with Sakayanagi, said the middle-aged man. Professor Ayanokouji made his movements faster than the protagonist thought. I understand. The other man ran off to do Professor Ayanokouji's request as quickly as possible. Ayanokouji-sensei, I think it's time to visit him? Asked one of the gentlemen standing near Professor Ayanokouji. The sooner we bring Kiyotaka back into the clean room, the more fruitful it will be. I understand, then we will be waiting for your arrival, he said, bowing about 80 degrees. Professor Ayanokouji didn't care in the least about that gesture of respect and walked directly towards a door. Epilogue. The calm before the storm. The day of the exam had arrived, and with that we would know exactly who would be expelled. In the case of Class D and my current relationship with Sakayanagi, which has yet to come to fruition, there's also the change in what will happen next. I've already deviated from the planned timeline in which my actions were a result of my loss. So. Can I change anything? I don't know, but I'm not really interested right now. On the other hand, Kishida's help and Horikita's threats only made things worse. Although there were some setbacks regarding what will happen to Kishida from now on. There are only hours left until my next move is made. Hey Sudo, what's that face? Ike said. A best friend for Sudo-ken. Yes. That dead dog face isn't normal. Dog. This is like deja vu. TSK. Shut up, I was up all night memorizing as much as I could. Oh man, it's not like it was that difficult, hahaha. I stopped looking at them and focused on what was happening now. Kei was talking with her friends, Satyu, Matsushita, and others who don't need to be mentioned. On the other side of the coin I could see Kishida with other students. Barada was also talking to the others about exams or something trivial. Horikita on the other hand looked. As always. Yes. Let's forget about that. Clack. The sound coming from the door caught people's attention. This was Jabashiro-sei, our Japanese history teacher. As you may know, today will be the day for exams. It will also be an opportunity to earn class points, he said in a sarcastic tone. Most of us would probably be shocked if we were called the worst class upon entering, but I've already been through this for the second time. Besides, I don't need the midterms. The important thing is to gain the support of President Sakayanagi and powerful people who weren't influenced by that guy. Then let them begin. Tabashira pointed out the importance of the exam. It wasn't necessary to aim for the highest, but the more I make myself known, the faster my promotion will be. My hand gripped the pencil with a little force, and quickly, with subtle quick movements, I finished the exam in just 20 minutes. For the 15 minutes I was thinking about the ways in which it would happen if I could have a peaceful life. In the end, being here is just a means for us as students to experience reality. We will never be the same after we graduate. As well as each person's life will change. Ichino's kindness may change, and she may no longer be naive and move on. Tsukayanagi might stop being someone who obsesses over me. No. I'm more than likely we'll each go our separate ways. Ryuan, Horikita, Harada, Ichino, Tsukayanagi, Kei. There's no way anyone can ever remake their life or rebuild it. Heartbreaks. Betrayals. Losses. There's so much we don't know yet, but I feel like for some strange reason I'll never be able to change. I will carry this mentality even after I am released. And the more I try to get out of that hole, the more I will break. Kei has been the way that will allow me to get out of that emotionless pit, but what would happen if I lose the only person who gave me that opportunity? I'll break. Yeah. The exams had ended and he was now with Horikita Kushida, Ike, Yamauchi and Sudo. They were celebrating that Sudo had not been expelled. Man, I'm jealous of what Horikita did, Ken, Ike said. Yes, Yamauchi also agreed. Kushida on the other hand just watched this with a smile. Invented scene. I decided to change the flow of actions. Yes. Today Kushida should fall or at least break. Kushida, I call Kushida who was behind me. Yes. Ayanokouji-kun. He smiles at me while showing his angelic side. Why do you hate Horikita? Huh? Hate Horikita-san? Yeah. I don't know what you mean, Ayanokouji-kun. Kushida, do you remember that time you asked for help with Horikita? Yes. I remember that in the end it didn't go as planned, he said. There are many inconsistencies in what you told me. One was how you could have known Horikita's name if she didn't introduce herself, and the fact that your friends wouldn't have known her if it weren't for you. I saw your badge on the desk. Was it a little forced? Also I approached her. I grabbed her hair tightly and… Ham. I'm hungry and I want to eat pab. The sound was loud, but the good thing was that it could only be heard from inside, since the walls were soundproof. Kushida's face hit the ground. I didn't do it with much force, but it was enough to scare her. Then there's also the moment you saw her. Your facial expression had changed, plus it's easy to differentiate between a two-faced bitch like you. Kushida was about to bark, but… I grabbed his neck and held him tight. I stopped pushing so he wouldn't faint. It felt like a dirty rag. My foot slipped and I kicked him in the chest. How strange, my other foot also slipped. Another kick. Ah, he spat out blood. Let's go further. I grab her wrist and… Crack. A thunderous sound. Her wrist had been broken. I didn't even know what to do. I didn't want to do anything else besides, now I know it's better to get rid of it as soon as possible. I grab my cell phone and call a certain person. Do you have the points? Yes, but do you have it? Yeah. TSK, send me a picture of her. I decided to do it. Take a picture of her in her uniform with a little blood coming out of it. Okay. Okay then, 5 million, right? Yes. I said. But the matter with Kushida over, I proceed to take a few minutes of rest. The proposal I made was to a third-year senpai. Because Kushida is a popular person with well-developed attributes, she's attracted many perverts who want to have her and do whatever they want with her. But obviously, this is prohibited and paid for with expulsion and many more severe things that I won't go into detail about. For now, I've only obtained half of the amount I need. However, 5 million points is a lot for someone just starting out at ANS. For my plan, I must obtain things I couldn't get before. Like obtaining external help through a conversation with Sakanagi's father. For now, I don't know if the points will be enough for me to be able to talk to him or if he'll just let me talk without anything else. Or another method is to do something crazy and have them call me at the principal's office. In any case, those are the only 3 options. Dropping my phone and directly, my conscience. I've gained more than I thought, beyond destroying Kushida completely. Even if she continues to act or tries to bend me, everything is working against her. The recordings. We could also use the photos as a means of incriminating her to silence her, but the best basis for my protection are the saved videos and audios. Excluding Kushida's case, there's Elder Horikita. Now that I haven't interfered with Horikita's situation, I don't know if it will matter to me or be forgotten. Because of that exchange of blows, if you can call it that, Elder Horikita began to question me and elevate me in his eyes as a student. My popularity only clings to my class. Also, they still don't see me as a leader, but more as a sub-leader, because Harada expressed his opinion first without involving me, which I'm grateful for. Taking the reins of a class whose capacity is not yet at its maximum as it was in the later years is extremely exhausting. I greatly admire how Harada was able to keep Class D until the end of the first year, despite having ups and downs. Even after the expulsion of Irie and Yamauchi, there is no way we can go back. My opinion of Class D is that even if we try to reach 40 students, it is extremely impossible. Since we are not like Ichino's class, which was able to sustain its naive action of staying with 40 students, even knowing that this would have long-term consequences. Ending that nonsense was something I had to do and obviously we did it. By declaring war on Ichino's class, we dealt a severe blow that cannot be repaired. By destroying their only pillar, Ichino herself, we were able to end that naive idealism of preserving friendships. It wasn't easy. Class unity is also a powerful weapon that can cause a lot of damage in certain circumstances, but that's not the point. In the end, it's only 3 years. It may seem long to others, but for me, who lived my life in the clean room, 3 years is just a minimum number to which I must adhere as long as school allows. What's the point of being perfect if, in the end, you can't do what you want? Live a happy life with your friends, like the person you love. Sooner or later I'll meet him. I'll put an end to this time. There won't be a third chance. I had a chance that was wasted, and now I'm going to make the most of it. End of Volume 1. Hello. We finished Volume 1. Now we wait for Volume 2 of this fanfic, which will start on December 25th, I think. Yes, I think so. Well, here goes another fanfic idea. Title: The Intention to Kill My Girlfriend. Starring Kei and Kiyotaka. Description: After 3 years, Kiyotaka couldn't feel love for Kei. Now that he had less than 3 months left until graduation, he decided something he'd never imagined before. Kill Kei. Genre: Romantic comedy. Yes XD. Volume 2. Chapter 1. Consequences of the exam. Theo's POV. Today was the day we had to earn class points. Pseudo's expulsion was resolved before the exam even started. We spent around 100,000 private points to get him a point. Was this the best possible option? Honestly, I have doubts. If I didn't do that, Pseudo and Horikita's relationship probably would never have formed, but there are still other ways for them to form a friendship. Ishida's case didn't go any further. I simply did the same with the senpai. I incriminated him to the student council president and they did the rest. To do this, I had to cut all ties with him. And I even had to use a fake cell phone and a fake account. The amount provided wasn't an exaggeration that wouldn't be seen by the student council. For this, all that remained was to use the power of the school president, or rather, Sakayanagi's father. But even then, I don't know if this could work out for the best. There were 2 options. Using a fake account and transferring all the money, then slowly transferring the rest to my cell phone. The other option was to use Sakayanagi's father, and whatever he used. It's a headache to think about, but it's necessary for future plans. Although that's important for the upcoming events too. I want to see what changes this time. Ryuin's class attacked Hanami's class first. Now they'll most likely attack Class D, and the chosen one is Sudo. Kiyotaka-kun listened to the voice coming from Harada Yasuke. Yes Yasuke. Since May 1st began, we've grown closer. Thank you for helping Sudo-kun, he said. You're welcome, I said. For my part, the list topped by our class, which earned 87 points for the exam, adds up to around 298 points. Thanks to my willingness to risk certain points to obtain more information, we were left with only a limited arsenal of 490 points. While it would have been great to earn more points, that's not the case now. My personal points have increased dramatically. Ayanokoji-kun. Come here for a moment, Horikita called after me. Even if I wanted to refuse, it could cause a misunderstanding among the others. As the class's vice leader, would ignoring my classmates' calls make me look bad? Of course not. I just don't want to waste any more time. Yes Horikita. After that, we headed to the special annex. A place where there are no cameras and a perfect spot to corner someone. How were you able to save Sudo from expulsion? Horikita seemed a little different. She didn't seem as calm as usual. Was she shocked that I exceeded her expectations? If so, that's just the beginning of great adversity. But I don't care. Class is just another means to gain power. Obtaining the vice president position wouldn't be a bad thing. If I think about it, it might also help Horikita develop a better bond with her brother. I just had to tell him how unfair it seemed. Horikita looked at me with a face like, what the hell are you talking about? Or so I understand. Okay. So you'll tell me? Well, how are you? Tell me, Ayanokoji-kun. I'm not here to waste my time with you. Pay a total of 50k points to avoid pseudo-ban and buy the point. Horikita seemed to notice that. By anything I understand, he said while shaking his head from side to side. I don't know if I should thank you, but this information is essential to me. Thanks peon. This girl. Ah. My appetite is gone. Kiyotaka, the voice came from behind me. It was obvious who it was. The leader of Class A, Sakayanagi Arisu. Sakayanagi. Foo. Well, since we're here, how about a walk with childhood friends? This is more problematic. Okay, but when we leave I'll be done. Alright. So Kiyotaka. You have a plan for your father. Something like that. Foo. Now isn't it better to ask for protection? I don't think so. If he knows that, he'll probably try to attack you, but that would be idiotic too, unless. Attack your girlfriend. I unintentionally realized the weakness I have. So what do you plan to do? Tsukenagi seemed somewhat amused to know how to solve this for you. Who knows? I really didn't know how to solve this. But it's not like it's beyond my reach. Ayanokouji-kun. Tsukenagi, you seem a bit reluctant to believe that. Even if it was a lie. It was the truth. I didn't have a plan to win, and you see her protecting Kei. This would also jeopardize my relationship with Kei. But there's also a way to ban her from entering. Even if it costs someone help. You'll probably see it as Oaks. Although I have a guess as to how we can get rid of it before winter. NP is not guaranteed to turn out well. It all depends on the actions of those people. If this doesn't go according to plan, all that's left is to wait for the worst or finish the plan as quickly as possible. There are two people besides Tsukenagi's father who need your help. Clearly one of them is Elder Horikita. So you're thinking of attacking from outside. Almost got the answer. It's not bad, but it's not everything. I see. Well, I'll have to see about it eventually. Tsukenagi was surprised by my relationship with Kei. After all, she never thought I'd be dating a girl just as soon as I started at ANS. You would probably have said that it is because of hormones as a man. I couldn't lie to myself if that wasn't the main reason I chose Kei. Being the only person with whom I had such a fluid but simultaneously bad relationship. I'll leave that to your imagination. Phew. Well, I didn't block anything. And? This conversation may be superfluous, but it's good to talk to someone who is neither your friend nor your enemy from time to time. Understand, Ayanokouji? Yeah, Ike Kanji, a boy hated by girls, now approaches me. Our supposed friendship turned somewhat shady since I dated Kei, who's one of the prettiest first-year girls. That was Ike's fault. Man, can you help Ken with Horikita? What? As I said, Horikita only talks to you, so I thought you were the only one who could bring them closer. Look, I'm saying this to help a friend, in this case Ken. I understand, but why not, or better yet, I forget. If you think I'd talk to her, you're crazy. She's too cold and I don't think I could even keep up with her. Remember when we had that study group? TSK. Okay. I'll do what I can, I said. Well, I don't think I can do anything meaningful. Thank you, I owe you a favor, Ayanokouji. I just said goodbye to Ike before heading to the special annex. It feels a little strange knowing everything that's going to happen except for a few minor things. Hey bastard. What's up? Do you want to fight? It seems that I am not late. Sudo was about to fall into Class C's trap. Since they couldn't attack Class B, they now decided to go for Class D. The easiest one. Well, it doesn't hurt to come in, does it? Would recording prove anything? The truth is, I could only do one thing now, but it would be very risky. Intentum Oslo. Hey Sudo, I called Sudo, who was about to throw the first punch. Oh? He looked a little confused, or rather upset. It's not that it's important to me. What do you want? Just to help. Help me? Maybe. Just stay out of it this time. TSK. Now another one, Ishizaki said. First of all, I want to know what your intention was for taking Sudo to the special annex. Ah. Clearly it was just a talk, but that bastard wanted to hit them. What are you saying? So you guys from Class C came to Sudo, and then Sudo tried to hit you for no reason, right? And? Well, even if I wanted to help Sudo do it now or even after that, there won't be a significant change. So it's also true that their leader told them to do this. What? If their leader ordered them to anger Sudo and have him hit them. What the hell are you talking about? Ishizaki said that as he slowly approached. Besides, that's just your word and there's no evidence, he said. It's true, I have no evidence. Besides, even if I had, I wouldn't have done anything more than this. If I remember correctly, their leader is someone named Ryuin. If I remember correctly, they previously tried to attack Class B, but failed. So isn't it obvious that if they couldn't take on Class B, they wouldn't go after a lesser class? Huh? There's no way that's true. We just wanted to talk to Sudo, but this bastard is too arrogant. Shit, what are you saying? Leaving that aside. If it's true, then why did they start moving toward Sudo? I've been helping Sudo a few times with basketball and I got to see some people in his class. TCH. That still doesn't prove anything, he said worriedly. You're right. Well, let's go, Sudo. Huh? Oh well, he said, still not assimilating things. For now, this is fine. This event isn't important right now. Although there are still two people hiding, that won't hurt me. Wait, Ayanokouji, what the fuck was that? If you talk about what? That doesn't matter. Why did you have to intervene? It could be that because of his hostile attitude from the start, he never thought someone like me would help him. I think that must have damaged his pride as a man in some way. It's no good continuing to talk. For now, just focus on your basketball. Besides, I did this as a favor that you'll have to repay me later. It's fine, Sudo said as he left. Now what do I do with Sakura huh? Chapter 2 of Volume 2. A little about the others. Horikita Pav. I see. With all that said, I'm leaving Ayanokouji-kun behind. There was no need to be with him anymore, I'd even rather not be with him. But I have to. I have to know what he's up to and somehow get past it. Wait. Am I obsessing over him? No. Maybe it's just that I'm irritated that someone so lowly can surpass me and not notice something as simple as that. Even if I used everything to help Sudo, I think it would have been better to leave it. Well, I didn't know if it was possible to use points as a means to save someone. So that's how it is, right? I heard a voice in the distance. I'm not interested in watching someone else argue. Bastard. I heard a familiar voice. Turn to the address. Sudo-kun. Come on. I can handle you three. This idiot. If he was saved once, why does he keep doing the same thing just to get kicked out? Is he an idiot? Yes. He's an idiot. If I record this, I might be able to gather valuable information. It was the best I could do. But in the distance, I saw a silhouette I hadn't been able to see before. I decided to go after them first. If this has consequences for me in the future, it's better to hold on to it now. Hey, I wanted to try talking to her. If she backs down for some reason, it'll be an advantage for me. She might have the best physique among women, but if she's someone with any kind of athleticism, then I'll never be able to catch her. She wasn't agile, but she had the advantage of running first. Her silhouette wasn't visible until a red ribbon popped out. If I increase my speed now, I'll be able to catch up, but I also wouldn't be able to see what was happening to Sudo-kun. Damn. Okay. I decided to forget about Sudo and focus on the person in front of me. If it's someone close to us, I shouldn't run away, but if it's another class, I could understand. If it's what I think, I'll be able to find out why Sudo-kun was called to the special annex. There is no special reason, but I can assume it is to make him fall into a trap. Forgetting about the others, I chose to go faster. So what do you think? Sotomura said as he looked at Ike's Yamauchi and Sudo. Do you really think you'll get a girlfriend if you do that? Sudo said. Well, that depends, right? Yamauchi agreed with Ike in his mind, but he wanted to give a neutral reaction. Man, you know it's better to take a risk than to risk nothing and be left wondering. I sound smart, but coming from you I can't take it seriously, said someone. Aha, whatever, but hey, to each his own. Right. Ike said, glancing sideways at Kushida. But well, if we talk about good girls there would be Kushida, Sakura and Hasab, Yamauchi said. That's just for her breasts, right? Sotomura said to ease the tension. Of course idiot, big breasts are the best, said Ike. It seemed that he had become imbued with his fantasies. And for strange reasons I was watching their perversions. Hey Ayanokouji, have you done it yet? Ike told me. Whether he had done it or not. That was a topic for another place. No, I replied. Man, you better go fast. Girls like her are easy to leave you for another guy, Ike said. Unless you're speaking from experience and have quit. Hey, you're right, girls like Karuizawa are bitches. You know that the boyfriend of the one you called a bitch is here, right? Well, I would like to hit them, but I don't want to suspend them because of my anger at the moment. Hey Ayanokouji, do you know anything about Horikita? Sudo said. Now that I think about it, does Sudo care about Horikita? This is weird. I even broke the exact point where Sudo should have feelings for her. That changed that. I don't know, I said. I'm not close to Horikita. If we take into account my previous time at Anne's, I'd be a little better off with Horikita. But now? No. He was very distant from her. Oh well, I hope to thank you, he said. What? Hey Ayanokouji, why did you go out with Karuizawa? Ike asked me. Maybe that's the question they wanted to ask me from the beginning. I'm not someone who understands what a human being thinks or analyzes. If people are easy to read, they're like that, but people like Konji or Sakayanagi are special. Good or bad? It depends. That's something private, I said. My god, these people. What if Ayanokoji time traveled back to his first year after graduating? Movie Capítulo 2 del Volumen 2. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.